Hello everybody. Today I'm the exact same weight I was yesterday, 144.4. I ate a protein quest pumpkin spice muffin with butter fried on it, whipped cream, and yeah, that was what I had for breakfast. A cup of coffee on it as well. 2 shots of espresso. In the afternoon, my mom mixed some ground chicken with 2 eggs and some garlic, some pepper, some serranos, and some onions. She mixed that up. We were planning on putting it on the grill, but before we could put it on the grill, my mom needed to harden them by cooking them on the indoor pan first for 2 minutes per side. And then later I would cook them out on the grill to give them that charred taste that we were looking for. My sister chopped up the vegetables that we would be putting into the sandwiches, including the tomatoes, onions, as well as spinach. Well, I grilled the chicken. We put everything together with mustard and mayonnaise. And yeah, it tasted pretty good. It was basically like a chicken meatball, but a patty. So like a chicken meatball patty, basically. I drank the rest of my bubbly beverage that was raspberry flavored. My mom was curious about it, so I gave her a little cup of it. She seemed to like it. And my sister made some black tea with xylitol and equal in it. So we had that too. Overall, lunch was very good. Now, we're gonna jump ahead to the evening. Oh yes, I almost forgot to mention, I split a bag of Quest chips. Oh, actually my mom split because she was the one that got the bag out. Cheddar cheese flavored Quest chips. We split them in half between the two of us with our sandwich. Oh, and it also had pepper jack cheese on it as well. Next, for the afternoon, I had these new sour candies that are supposed to be for people who are on a low carb, low sugar diet. These were called sour blobs. And I got them because the flavor profile sounded really interesting, like watermelon dulce, black cherry. It just sounded like something right up my alley. So I got it, and I tried them, and I have to say they're pretty decent. But they gave me some serious bathroom problems. After just one bag, it was 50 grams. It must have been the 12 grams of fiber that was in the product, I would imagine. I had a bowl of peanuts, 1 ounce to be exact, and a cup of water. My mom arrived, and we both had another chicken sandwich since we had 2 leftover patties from the afternoon. With cheese, the pepper jack cheese, the keto bread. Oh, and we used the keto bread for our first batch of sandwiches, as well as mustard, mayonnaise, and yeah, that was pretty much what was in them. And we split some lime chili Quest chips as well. So we had that, and later I remember, I snacked a bit on some smoked turkey slices and some of those salami slices. No nitrates in them. They didn't have any of those additives. And I believe that's pretty much what I ate today, on top of the vitamins that were also consumed. So, any exercise, a mild 15-minute, 20-minute walk around the neighborhood nothing strenuous or exciting or interesting. Sorry. Okay, now let's get on with the daily update. I woke up at 7 o'clock. When I got up, I used the restroom, and instead of staying up and doing something that would make me feel like I've had a productive day, I instead decided to immediately just go back to sleep. And when I got up, it was 12 in the afternoon. I went to sleep for an additional 5 hours. Part of me thinks that perhaps this could have just been because I had the day off today, so my body was like, oh, there's no pressing matter of getting up too early. Let's take advantage of this and stay in bed. But also, like, another reason was I just didn't have any plans, didn't write anything down, and just decided to stay in bed. So, yeah, I guess you can't be disappointed by something that you didn't pre-plan ahead of time, right? Although I remember I did say in my previous 2 videos I wanted to get up at like 6 from now on, and I moved the hour up to 7 because it was getting later on the time I finally uploaded my last video, so I decided to move it up an hour, and I didn't pass through that. But perhaps it's because I need some kind of a plan or something to really motivate me. Like, the last time I followed through was when I wrote something in my notebook. So perhaps writing something in my notebook to do before going to sleep is the key to motivate me to want to do something instead of like going back to sleep again. Just a thought. Well, anyways, when I got up, I immediately went on my phone and I was just mindlessly browsing through YouTube until I found a short called the Subpar Vlogs, and it was like an animated short of like a lady who was talking about falling in love with a mascot of a sub sandwich company who was like a submarine, and she was basically going she's making like a video like how I make my videos, where I like turn on the camera and I'm going through from point A to point B of what happened. So and I've seen videos from this animator on YouTube before, but you know, the fact that it was so close to kind of what I'm doing right now just made me have sort of a meta moment where I was like, oh wow, this character kind of reminded me of me. I think that's kind of funny. But on top of that, the animated short was very, very, very enjoyable. The voice acting was very energetic, very focused, very had a lot of intent behind it, and it also was very funny and charming. It had like an obsessive energy to it that I dug. Like, the short was basically about like this girl who's a huge fan of the this company called Subpar, like Subparlor, but it also is a double entendre. It also like subpar quality or something like that. But I think that's a funny little play on words. And it was basically this lady character was just going through like wanting to be with this like submarine mascot, and the mascot gets out of his room and he's like, oh, I want to go now. And she's like, wait, no, don't leave, why are you leaving? And then she goes about what she thinks about what's going on. What can I say? Very funny and relatable in a sense. I like what one of the YouTube commenters said about how she had like a blank stare when she turned off the camera. It really captured that small vlog energy, if that makes sense. Like someone doing something independently, like, and they're just doing it like for themselves, and like then they switch off their vlog mode and they have that blank stare before turning off the camera. I could definitely relate to that. I thought that was pretty funny. All right, well, moving on from that short, um, I decided to go out into the living room because I was beginning to get quite hungry. My sister was there. I greeted her. She greeted me back. And we had a nice chat. Very good chat. Um, and afterwards, I got the pumpkin muffins for the quest. And I was just going to eat it like how it normally is. My sister suggested putting butter on it and then trying to pan fry it. I said I'm not sure how that's going to work out because it's whey powder, and I don't know if whey powder is going to lead to a successful dish. She said, try it out. I was like, no, why not? It couldn't hurt, right? So I put some grass-fed butter on these protein muffins and put them on the pan at a low heat. And when they were done frying, the way they looked pretty fried. But when I touched them, they were very soft, like in a mushy kind of way, which was a bit of a turnoff for me because I don't know. I like it when my muffins like have a nice crispiness after you fry them. Like it adds that crisp when you bite into them. These ones didn't have that. It was like a soft and mushiness after warming it up on the pan with the butter, which I didn't know about. But anyways, I put them on a plate after they were done frying. I put some whipped cream on them. Then I spread some pumpkin spice powder on the whipped cream on these pumpkin spice muffins. And my sister wanted to try some, and she said, yeah, you're good. And I was like, all right. And then I went into my room, and I decided, right before I went into my room, my sister suggested we do an audiobook together. And the audiobook she suggested was I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And she even suggested why not listen to an already pre-recorded one while doing some art. And even though I thought that was a really cool idea, my mind was sort of set continuing to watch the Wicked musical in my room, so I declined the offer. So I went into my room and I continued watching a bit more of the Wicked musical. I've gone from the happier than ever opening number of the second half to the part where the guy, the Munchkin who is in love with Elphaba's sister, gets transformed into the Tin Man. And then after that, Elphaba meets the wizard, and they have sort of a side-by-side musical number, which was kind of fun to see because I haven't watched the second half really in depth. So hearing these characters like have a little duet while, being pre-prepped with the character Elphaba singing about the wizard at the beginning of the play was sort of a nice little continuation slash like satisfying moment. Like it felt like the character got their wish, while also at the same time realizing that sometimes wishes aren't what they appear to be. And there's a lot more going on than we originally thought. It is a very more in-depth story than I was originally thinking about it. Like before, I thought it was sort of like your average Disney princess affair of like, ooh, popular girl and ugly girl have a big adventure. But the more you read into this plot, the deeper the subtext goes, and the more you start thinking about like, oh, that's some serious stuff. Wow. But as I was watching the part after the two characters, Oz, the Great and Powerful, and the Wizard, or the Witch of the West, sang, I decided to look up on my phone through Google Gemini the differences between two Oz prequels, The Great and Powerful and Wicked, and because I remember that prequel that came out in the early 2010s, and I was like, are there any differences? Do these things correlate? Are they part of the same continuity, or are they separate continuities? And basically the answer is yes, they are separate continuities that basically one is like a direct prequel from The Wizard of Oz, and the other one recontextualizes and reframes the original Wizard of Oz, and it makes you look at it in a different light than you originally thought before. Whereas Oz the Great and Powerful is a basic, like, big adventure film that just directly leads up to the Wizard of Oz. So I just thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, I don't really remember too much about watching that movie. I just thought it was kind of like all right, I suppose. It really didn't like leave too big of an impression on me. I just remember that it existed and that it was made by the guy who made those Spider-Man movies that I was such a huge fan of as a kid, and I still have a soft spot for now. Or Sam Raimi. Good director. I like his work. Definitely one of his more childish films, though, that's for sure. All right. Well, anyways, after doing that deep comparison, I talked about my exploration of the play with my sister, and then our mom arrived, and she was hungry. She wanted to make the chicken sandwich, so we all did our part and made it together. My sister cut the vegetables, and my mom mixed the meat patties and pre-cooked them. I cooked them on the grill outside by starting the grill up, and then we brought everything together, and it was very good. I very much enjoyed it. Oh yeah. Well, after we were done eating, I remember my mom wanted me to help make sort of a commercial using AI video generation on Google VO3, because I got a $20 AI Pro plan to test out Google's image editing feature, because I was quite impressed with using the free version of it. And when I used it, I was like, ooh, this is a lot of fun. I want to see what else I can do with it. And but yeah, my mom suggested making a little ad for the guys who worked on the room that we have. So I tried to take one of the guys, turn them into a cowboy, and have them, because the guy said he knows how to lasso, so we thought it'd be cute to have a little ad where he's like lassoing and he's bringing in like cattle and ringing them up and riding them, and I just thought, oh, that would be a fun commercial idea. So we put all of that together, and overall I have to say that Google VO3, despite having the ability to add sound into your generations, it's honestly a real bugbear to work with, because when it comes to more complex tasks like lassoing, it makes the character look like they don't really know what they're doing, and the generation just looks extremely off, and I'm not a huge fan of it at all. And it's taken like multiple generations, and the sucky thing is that like they only give you 1,000 credits and 20 credits per generation, and pretty much almost every generation was not satisfactory. So I don't know, I feel like the fact that they charge you so much and then you get very little in return that you actually are looking for just seems like lame to me. I think it would be a much better business model to allow you give you 4 generations, and then you choose the one that's most satisfactory, and then it deletes all the other ones and allows you to spend your points on the one that you like the most. Like, I think that would be a much better way of doing the whole credit system, but instead you ask it, and then it has the generations appear, and then you just have to hope and pray that it's the one that you want. And 9 times out of 10 it isn't, and you just wasted those credits, and that's your $20 are slowly going down the drain. It's a really, really awful, unideal system. And I racked my brain over it for like 2 hours, and it's just frustrating. I do not like it one bit. Well, anyways, I got super fatigued from working on that for a while. So, I watched a YouTube video of a guy who ate the average American diet for 3 days. Um, Bizarrely, the guy lost 3 pounds from doing the average American diet, but he said that his energy levels were like always crashing and he felt like tired all the time. So, even though he, lost some weight, um, the effects that the material had that he ate had on his body was slowly draining him over time in just a 3 day period. So even though the scale seems like it's telling a different story, the reality is it was hurting him on the inside. So interesting take. He was like eating over like 150 grams of sugar a day, which is ridiculous. Like that's a fast track to diabetes if I ever saw one. But anyways, after watching that video, I tried working on the ad even more, and I just got exhausted of it. So I wanted to take a little vacation away from my phone. My mom left for work. My sister left for a watch party for 28 days later with my other sister. And I decided to take a break from my phone by plugging in the charger and then just going for a phone-free walk around the neighborhood to sort of just rest my mind. I felt so exhausted from that whole experience. It felt like banging my head against a wall. It honestly was like soul-sucking, not gonna lie. I did not enjoy it. Well, after my 20 minutes, I returned, and when I returned, I remember there was another AI video gen project that I was working on. I thought that, well, if I'm paying $20 for just 1 month, because I immediately unsubscribed, and I don't plan on subscribing again, unless like some interesting new feature comes out. Never perpetually subscribe to an AI service because there's always like competition and one's going to have more cool and interesting features over another. So just wait until the cool interesting features launch and then subscribe and then see if it's something you like and then continue doing it if you like it. But honestly, I just only subscribe a month because at the end of the day, it's not a necessity. It's a novelty that's fun to mess around with, but not something that's, something you need to survive. And yeah, that's how I see it. But anywho, I decided to use Google's Nano Banana image editing technology to take a frame that I was trying to work on for a former AI generated little short thing I was making, which was like a live action adaptation of a video game called Mother for the NES, or Earthbound Beginnings in the US. And overall, it was still being extremely finicky, but I will say that the image generation output was much quicker than Image 04 for ChatGPT, although I will say that it was less consistent than Image 04 for ChatGPT. For example, like you got stuff faster, but half the time it was the exact same output as the input. So I send an image. I want the image to be like this, but just change the color grading. And then it gives me the image, and it's the exact same image as the one before, and it made no changes. So the technology just isn't there yet, and I give it a big thumbs down for now. Kind of having some buyer's remorse, although I did manage to get the shot I wanted. It took like an hour and a half to get it to where I wanted it, which is ridiculous. It really ate away at my mental energy, and I don't know if I want to go through that again. But yeah, I had some images I wanted, but I didn't want to use VO3 for it because I wanted to use the start and end frame feature, and VO3 doesn't have that, only VO2, and I tried that with a former generation earlier in the day, and it didn't give me the results I wanted. So instead, I decided to subscribe again to another video AI generation model called Lua Minimax, and of course immediately unsubscribed from it because I know that Lua Minimax has a new feature called Start and End Frame. I was like, oh, that's exciting. I can't wait to use it. I opened it up, and guess what? Apparently, for people who are subscribing, $35, you only get 1 week with the start and end frame feature. What? Why? I'm paying for your service for a whole month of my money, and you're telling me that I can't use one of your features, or I can only use it for 1 week? That's ridiculous. I'm telling you, these companies, they're really, there's something else. Honestly, this might be the last time I subscribe to Lua Minimax if they're just going to pull a stunt like that off. That is so stupid. Well, anyways, after getting that annoying notification, I was like, okay, well, I guess I better start working on my generations now. Time is of the essence, because I have to be forced to make stuff as quickly as possible, because I don't want to waste any of the money that I just spent for a feature that I thought I was going to have for as long as I had the subscription. Oh well. Well, anyways, I was starting to work on the adaptation of the video game when I honestly got video gen fatigue. I just didn't want to work anymore. I was like, this is too much. So I plugged in my phone. I got some sour candies in the mail. I got those, and I decided to have a bag while watching a behind-the-scenes documentary on the film The Wizard of Oz through the 4K Blu-ray DVD, or sorry, just 4K Blu-ray disc. It's not a DVD. Those are two separate things. And that was a good reprieve, very nice and relaxing. My mom showed up as I was watching it. I was eating the candy, then I switched to peanuts when I ran out of the candy, and I was drinking some water. And when my mom arrived, we had our dinner, which was the chicken sandwiches and the lime chili Quest chips, and we split a bubbly my mom got from the fridge. And yeah, then we watched it. It was very good documentary, very solidly made. It got interviews from each of the casts and main directors, people who were part of the production. And it was a very insightful documentary. It really gave you some decent insight on the ins and outs of the production of that legendary movie. And I really appreciated it. I really enjoyed it, 100%. Well, after that, my mom was tired. She went to sleep. I spent way too much time trying to do video generation over and over again of the adaptation of the video game I was trying to get right. And I burned through 1,000 credits of the 4,500 that I was received from Lua Minimax to get one 10-second shot that I thought was decent enough to use. Keyword being decent because there was still a little bit of glitchiness in it, but it was better than the other shots. But man, that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm starting to think this whole video gen thing is a huge waste of time. But hey, it is, I have to admit, it is satisfying putting the clips that you like together in a timeline and seeing the events play out the way you intended them to play out. That is very satisfying. Is it wasting hours of your life trying to get the perfect shot that you're burning through all of your cash satisfying? Not exactly sure about that satisfying. It's more of like a extreme grind that is just barely like, oh, that's kind of neat satisfying. Yeah, I probably should spend that time working on my own creative projects instead of, wasting it doing stuff that like is just impractical and ridiculous. Well, anyways, after I was done getting the shot I wanted, I was really tired, so I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, and I was about to go to sleep. Well, sorry, no, I wasn't about to go to sleep. I was about to record my video when my sister arrived from her trip to our sisters. And we spent some time together talking about the 28 Days Later sequel. She's very excited for that. I'm not as excited for it because I'm not really a horror fan at all. I don't really like horror movies. I know, but that's just who I am. But it was cool seeing her enthusiastic about that. Then we pet the cats that were in the den. They were super cute and they were little bundles of joy. Then I said goodnight to my sister and I went in my room to record this video. And that's pretty much what happened. Thanks for tuning in. Overall, my review of the day was a solid headache out of 10 because most of the time was spent in front of my phone screen messing around with AI generation software and slowly losing my mind. But I mean, now today's history. Maybe I can learn from my previous mistakes and, have a better day tomorrow. I'm sure I will. I go to work tomorrow from 1 to 10. Let's try to get some cool stuff done in the morning, like maybe working on my YouTube channel, maybe getting some exercise in. Yeah, things like that. Well, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody, and have a good night. Have a good night. Oops. Have a good night.